Department of Transportation, State Highway. We have Kim from Baltimore City on the line. So we wanted to go over some new functionality that's going to be coming in the next probably 2 weeks, probably the week of February 7th. February. Yeah, it's time for a vacation. The week of July 7th. We don't have an exact date right now. So we've been talking about route authorization for probably over 2 years. So you've had plenty of warning. So that's going to come to fruition. There's the escort queue as well as night orders we're going to go over. So if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat as we go along. We'll answer them as we go. So any blanket permits that you have, and for those not familiar, route authorization means that you will now be required to put your route in for your blanket permits. Any existing blankets. So let's say if we have an existing blanket or you buy a blanket the day before the route authorization goes into effect, we will honor those blankets, even if it's a year blanket, 365-day blanket. If there's any modifications that need to be done to that blanket, let's say you buy a year blanket the day before we go live with the route authorization, during that year, then you will be required to, we won't alter that blanket. You will be required to get a route authorization under a new blanket. The route authorization, we're going to sell you a blanket just like we do today, no price increase or anything. So if you buy a monthly blanket, you'll buy that monthly blanket for the $50, same as the annual blanket. But every time you make a move now, instead of having free reign of the whole state, which you'll still have, but this time you have to go in and put your route in, because now you're supposed to go in and check your route and check the route restrictions. Well, we know nobody's doing that, or there might be one person doing that, because we can see the hits on the website on that web page for the route restrictions. People are ending up where they're not supposed to be. We don't know where anybody's going. People have to be turned around. Or we have to have state police out there complain. The bridge people complain. Everybody's complaining. So, and I know there's a lot of people that do it right, but in exchange for that, what we tried to do, and the reason that we held off for that, is because we did put in Comar to raise the length of the blanket to match Baltimore City blankets, which are 85 length, and we did put in for a 100,000-pound blanket at 6 axles. But Comar kept getting held up. We have a lot of new people in our legal department. Then we kept adding things, changing things. So that's still to come. But we were trying to do that parallel with this change. But now this is in this release, so we are going to go live with this regardless. So now you're supposed to check your route, as I said anyway. So this is checking that for you. So it's just a matter of training and getting used to it. There's also some other features upcoming in the route. We'll probably do training on that the next time, but we'll get started with this on the route authorization. Did you want to say anything, Kim?
Nope, I'm good. Just
Okay.
listening to you.
Okay. So Jen, if you want to go ahead and get started.
Okay, thanks, Tina. Good afternoon. I'm Jin Zhang from Bentley. So as Tina mentioned, we're going to have 3 new features going to be included in the next release, which is going to come in probably couple weeks. And let me share first. So we're going to use this webinar to show the 3 new features and the route authorization, the escort manager, and net orders. So the route authorization, there are total 4 blanket permits. So like Tina mentioned, if you have those permits already issued before this new feature release, you can still use them without require you to log in to request the route authorization. Only the new blanket permits you applied for, you paid for after that new release will require route authorization. And I will show you we made some minor change on the router. So let me show some minor changes we made for the blanket permits. So to save the time, I'm just going to use a one permit, the blanket permit, to copy as a template. So this is the state 365-day blanket permit application, and in the old the blanket permit in the old system, not old system, but the old blanket permit never require you put any actual information. And with new blanket permit, sometime you will require to enter the actual information. There are two cases you are going to require to enter the actual information. The first case is if your GVW is 90,000 pounds. By the way, the blanket permit, the maximum GVW can have is 90,000 pounds. So, but if you have for this case, let's say if I put 39,000 here, and if I click this, it's going to say actual information is not required. But if I put 40,000 here, and it will require actual information. You're not going to be able to move to the next page without enter the actual information if your GPW is 90,000 pounds. And the second case is for any vehicle with a special mobile equipment, low description. So anything with start with special mobile equipment, I would just pick this one. So now, for this case, it does not have to be 90,000 pounds. So for example, I change to 20, actually I can put this 0, special mobile equipment. So this is only 50,000 pounds GVW, and it's still going to require actual information. So those are the two major changes for the blanket permit. So now let me go back to that original one. I need this military track. So then I'm going to put 40,000 here. And I should have the actual information because I copied it. I never removed them, delete those information, so still there. So I will move to the next page. So this is just review page, go to payment page. So the annual blanket is $500. The 30 days is, I believe, is $50. Submit. So the permit got issued. So now let's take a look at the permit, the changes on permit. So the old blanket, what you got is permit already, so you can carry that. You use that for the movement, but the new blanket permit is not valid for travel anymore. You have to get a route authorization. So we put this specific verbiage here to let you know you cannot use this for traveling. You really have to get a route authorization. So that's really the main change. Then all the information that from the application will be displayed here, including actual information and some restrictions here. Now I will show you how to get a route authorization, use the blanket permit. So what you do is come here, find the blanket permit you want to use to make a move, and you select that and then click there's a new button here at the bottom called route authorization. So you click the button. So the system will copy all the information from that blanket permit, including the vehicle information, the load information, and you can make changes based on your vehicle. You can change the dimensions, the load weight, and even the axle information, as long as the dimensions is not over the maximum allowed, and also the weight is not over exceed the maximum allowed. So you can make all those changes for that specific move. And I would just go to the next page. So now the route authorization, just like a single trip permit, it's valid for 5 days, and you need to define the trip. So here I would just pick a simple trip, short trip here. I'm going to use pick the trip on the map. Just pick one here. No, let's pick here. It's better. Okay, so I've analyzed the trip. So pass analysis, go to next. And go to payment page. So the route authorization is free. There's no charges here, and then you just go ahead, checkbox, submit. So now you got a route authorization. So now if you look, the permit for this particular route authorization, this is tell you this is route authorization for 365 days blanket, and also lists all the truck information, the load, and also the route information on the permit, just like a single trip permit. So for this one, I define a short trip on a state road, and I'm going to show you how to use a state blanket permit and travel to cross both the state and bottom city road, on the state and bottom city road. So I will use the same application, same blanket permit. I will do a route authorization. And I will go to the trip page. So this time I'm going to pick a route that's going to start on state road and end it in the bottom city. So I will pick this one and analyze. And trying to go to the next page. So since I'm using a state blanket permit and trying to get a route authorization that also travel on bottom city road, you're gonna get this message that you cannot use a state blanket permit to create a route authorization for the routes traveling into or from bottom city. So there are two options here you can do. One is if you do have a blanket permit for the bottom city, and for the same load with the same load description and serial number, and you can put that in permit number here, and it will let you use that, and then you can get this one route authorization, and without have to get a single trip permit. So I'm going, let's say this one, this is the Baltimore City blanket permit. It has the same load description and serial number as this state blanket permit. So if I do a next, so it will let you move to the next page. The system will validate, make sure that permit is dimensions, weight, load description, all that is valid. And then you can use it. Otherwise, you'll get a message saying this is cannot be applied because your load description does not match. So you will get a message tell you cannot be applied. So now I go to the payment page. So then I can just submit. So now I got another route authorization, but this one will travel from state to the bottom city. And in here, it's also show you the bottom city blanket permit you used, you applied to this particular route authorization. And so that's one way to do this. Another way to do this is on that trip page. If you, let me just do another one here. So here, if you pick that route again, and now let's say you don't have a bottom city blanket permit, and also you don't want to get one because you may only need to make this one trip. It's not worth to get a blanket permit. Then what you can do is you just define the trip from the start to the border of the bottom city, and then you can get route authorization for this stretch of road, and then you can get a single trip permit for the bottom city. And then you can combine those two permits together to make your trip. So Tina, do we have questions? Do you want to answer questions about route agreement, route authorization? I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. Let me see. Jump to the newest. Does routing requirement apply to 365-day continuous travel blanket? Yes. They're blankets. Sorry for having been bugging you guys. MSP told me I have until 2 to get this set up with them, but I still haven't had them approved. What are you talking about them? You talking about them, the ones from this morning? Are you talking about them 2 loads? I can send an email back to Bridge. What about continuous travel permits for tow trucks? I have to look at those. Let me check on that, Chris. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, that's all? No more questions? Okay. So then I will move to the next topic. The next topic is to talk about the escort manager and net orders. And so I will show you how to request for a net order and also show you the escort and net orders approval process and also the notifications you would get whether via email or text message if there's a escort or net order required. So let me 414551. So I will use this application. This is the application start in the bottom city and then travel to the state. And it's a pretty heavy load, it's going to require both the state escorts and Baltimore City escorts. So it's failed, that's fine. So as you can see here, this particular application going to require 1 escort for the state and 2 escorts for the Baltimore City. So yeah, the escort managers really manage the police escorts only, not the traffic escorts. To the account has payment type. Okay, so now so this application got submitted and it requires Baltimore City to review first, approve it, and then it's going to require state to approve it. So I will log in as Baltimore City. And open the application. And go to trip page. So here, the Baltimore City permit office is actually control whether they can put you on the net order list, and you need to communicate with Baltimore City with Kim, and then if the Kim's agreed and there's still the spots available, and she will check the checkbox, and then move to next page. Oh, sorry, I need to override analysis. To go to the payment page. Go ahead, issue the permit. So now the permit is in the state permit office. So now I will log in as a state permit office. I will open.
Hey, Jen, when you finish that, can you show them how to find the blanket from my queue by searching for blankets if you don't know what the number is? Under advanced, when you go to search just for blanket permits, the type of blanket permits,
Okay.
please.
Issue the permit. So this is the permit we just got issued. So Tina, what do you want me to do here?
Go to my queue, go under advanced search.
Oh, you want to show the
So it's say permit type and go to blanket. Like a 30-day or 365-day blanket.
you want to search for route authorization or you want to search for blanket?
I don't know. He just said, is there a way to find a blanket in your queue if you don't know the blanket, if you don't know what the number is? So
Oh,
so
okay.
what I do is I'll search for the type, and then I'll just put, like, if you probably know the date range, and then you can search for you can move down here and you can search for what you moved.
Yeah.
If you scroll across, you can see the type of equipment. If you can move over a little bit past status. And you can see, your truck make and this kind of stuff, like the license and, you can probably go by some of that, unless you had the same truck, but. And then you can also click on display application summary. If you click on that display application summary, Jen.
Oh, you want to look at the summary?
Yeah, the summary. Click on
Yeah.
display application summary next to reset, and then just click on one of the blankets and then scroll down, just so you don't have to open up everyone.
So here's the
And then,
summary.
yeah, and then scroll down and you can kind of see what it was. And if that's not it, go to the next one, just so you don't have to keep searching and open, so you don't have to open every single one. Does that answer your question, Sean? Okay. Good. Okay, that answered his question.
Okay. So we issued a permit that requires 3 escorts and 1 net order. So as soon as permit got issued, the permittee, the hauler who will apply for the permit, you will get an email. Actually, you will get 2 emails for this case. So you can see this is the first email. It tells you this permit requires escorts. To schedule escorts, please join or please log into the Maryland one to go to my admin escort manager page. And also a net order for this permit has been created. To complete net order, please log into the Maryland one and go to the my admin net orders function. And of course, you also get an email just like you will get today to tell you the permit has been issued. So now I'm going to log in. Actually, I am. Oh, I was logging the permit office. Now I'm going to log in as the hauler itself and go to my admin. So now, when this new release is in production, you're going to see 2 new functions, new links here under permit management. One is called escort manager, and one is called net orders. So now, if I go to here, and there are quite a few permits issued that's still active. So I'm going to find one that I just issued today. So this was the one issued today. And as you can see here, there are 3 records here. One indicated is Maryland, and 2 says Baltimore City. So the one for Maryland, that's the escort request for the Maryland, and the 2 Baltimore City is for the 2 for the Baltimore City escorts. So you can select any one of those and then click the update schedule. And here, what you need to do is to complete your driver's information. So I will just put driver's information here. And this is, if you check this box, because there's 3 escort requests. So if you say update driver details for all jurisdictions, so that will update not only the 2 for the Baltimore City, also the 1 for the state. And you don't have to enter your driver information, repeat the information again. So I will put an email here. And if you want to get notification by email, you need to check this checkbox. And you can also get notification via the phone, the text messenger. If you put a phone number here and check this checkbox. So I will just check email for now. And that's pretty much you need to do. Of course, you also need to tell the day you're going to move and the time. So I say I'm going to move on 30th, next Monday. And then you can pick a time. So if you think you're going to move, let's say in the afternoon, like 7 p.m. And then it's going to put there. And also here's the time. This is for if you're going to need a net order, and this is some available slots, time slots here. And there is a 1 hour window for each time slot. And you can pick the one apply to you. And also this time slot is based on available. So if some time slot already picked by other haulers, by other permits, it won't show up here. So any time slot show here, you can pick. So since I do that 7 to 8, so this one I pick. And that's pretty much all you need to do. And then just go ahead and save. Successful. So now if you look those two bottom city ones, they both should have information already, even though I selected the first one, but I did it. So now if I look at this one, it's also have all the information already. There's issue here. Oh, it's text. Oh, it's just slow. Maybe. Try one more time. Try this one. Okay, so there's issue. Looks like it to display the information, but the information should be complete already. So now, once you complete your escort request, and even in your email says you also need to complete your net order. So then you also need click net orders link, and then there's issue here too. So I'm going to do this. We'll search. So I think this, yeah, this is the one we issued. So I click update. So as you can see here, the start date, the date and time, and also the driver's information, everything already filled in because you complete that escort request. So all those information are copied over to here. And now for this one, the only thing you need to do is to specify whether you take out or bring in, and also enter your e-model account number if you have one. And then also if you have a trade card, this is by default is checked. If you have one, you don't have to worry about it. Don't have to do anything. But if you don't have one, you need to uncheck it. As soon as you uncheck it, there's a drop-down list displayed here. There are 4 escort companies, and you have to select one from this list. So let's say I select this second one, the one you work with, and that's it. So then you can just go ahead, save. So you complete your part. Now, at the same time, Baltimore City permit office also received the email indicating there's net order and Baltimore City need to review. So I will log in as a Baltimore City user. I will log in as this user, since this user can show you better. So this one is waiting for approval. And then the Baltimore City user going to open this, and it has all the information. They will verify, the day, the time, and all that. And if it looks good, they're going to approve it. And they can put some information, comments here. Okay, just save it. So once it's saved, this status change to approved, and you will receive, then you will receive another email tell you this is the email. Once your net order is approved, it's going to tell you your net order for this particular day is approved, and if you have any questions, you can contact. Okay, we'll list the email and phone number and all that. So now, so once it's approved, then there's a final. Actually, also you may get the net order request returned if there's, for example, if they cannot verify your e-model account number, they may just return that to you, and then you're also going to get an email saying your net order has been returned, and then you need to go back, provide the information they need, and then you just go ahead and save again. That will be resubmit again. So do we have questions, Tina?
Yeah, let me say. Did you show the escort request?
Yeah, I did. For the industry user, do you want me to show again?
No, it says, sorry, my dog was barking. It said, did you show the escort request is only in the admin section? It said, do all escort, I guess they're asking, did you show that the escort request is only in the admin section? Are you saying that only the admins can use this?
Oh, no, this is, yeah, it is on the my admin section, but this will be turned on for, I guess it's up to the Tina, up to the state to see whether only your company admin user going to have this available or is everybody.
Yeah, Gladys, they mean, I see it's from Gladys, so it means it's under my admin right here, under the my admin section. Right there, under like admin, my queue, my vehicles, my reports, my admin help. That's what they meant. So, and we'll probably turn it on for everyone. Where are we at? Do all escorts need to be completed this way? So there's a transition period. So now, because the state police have a system called like DMX. So what they do is when you have an escort that goes out, if it's not in that area, in your certain area, they'll put it out on their system. Their system's not tied to this system. So what they do is they'll send it out, and whoever gets it first, or whoever responds to the email first will pick that up. So right now, this is like a tracking system, and so that, as I explained yesterday, so if a carrier, like this will put it on your calendar, and if a carrier got stuck, let's say in Pennsylvania and or wherever, if they got held up or had a breakdown or got stuck in traffic and they're going to be late, it's a way to communicate. So there's total transparency across all the agencies for tracking purposes. And if you needed to communicate with that officer or with the bridge people or something, if you were going to be late, let's say you're going to be 2 hours late, well, the officer already had planned to do that so that he doesn't drive all the way out there and sit there for 2 hours because he's not going to wait for 2 hours, that they end up leaving. Well, if you could communicate with them, a lot of times they call the barrack and they don't even know who's assigned to it, or it'll take them time to track it down. During that time, they could have been driving, or sometimes people in the office will call but then you drive out there and then you're going to sit and there's issues with truck parking when you could have just went in the app and known right then and there, hey, can you guys do this like an hour or two later? And got contacted the bridge people and the police and the bridge people all at once to make sure everybody's on board and can still do it 2 hours later. And 9 times out of 10 they can, but common courtesy, you want to let everybody know so that they're not driving out there. They can spend time at home or, get some other things done before they're driving out there. So it's really a communication mechanism. The officers aren't going to give their numbers and emails and that kind of stuff out. It's in the back end of the system. So you communicate through here. And again, like I said, it's so that we know, the port knows, Baltimore City knows, everybody knows that you actually got the escorts. And like I said, it'll put it on your calendar. If we need to cancel things, then they'll cancel them through this app. So that's the purpose of it now. So you're still going to call state police, and then we're going to train them to put that in the system, or the carrier put it in the system. Baltimore City is still doing your escorts for you. So you still have to call Kim, and Kim will schedule it. So Baltimore City will, I guess, will be putting them into the system. It's up to Kim if she wants you to put it in, or they're going to be putting it in and scheduling them. Even though state police are doing the escorts on behalf of Baltimore City, but on Kim's side, they're doing the scheduling for that. So this is really like a tracking system to make sure people are getting the escorts, because we had a lot of times for new carriers, people thought that when they get an escort from Maryland, that they weren't getting the Baltimore City ones. I called the state thinking that the state covered the city, even though the state police are doing them on behalf of the city. They weren't getting the other side of the escorts, and then got stranded, and then trying to coordinate and get both again for another day. And there's no truck parking, so for anywhere. So just became an issue. And we try to keep everything contained in one system. So I hope that answers that question. So you're saying we no longer are required to call MSP barracks? Nope, still gotta call them. Today our associates added as permit service users. Do they have to have admin capabilities? No, we're gonna give it to everybody. Because everybody, whoever's doing it should be able to put the scheduling in there. How do we receive to meet up information with the police? I know Baltimore City meeting place for night travel needs to the port is changing. Kim, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so our normal holding spot for 695 has been taken away due to construction. Right now we've been kind of catching the trucks on the fly. We'll talk to the company, find out how long. Usually I'll have state police up there and we just keep you rolling. We have had some meetings of some new holding spots. But we've been working on a big windmill project that just started coming out of the port. So now that that's done and they're actually moving, then I'll get with Josette and Bridge and MDTA and see if those new spots are available. But once the spots are available, then we'll, as they come in, I'll let everybody know.
Thank you. And then how do we add Tillerman or other support personnel to the night orders? I don't know what you mean by that, Kendall. Do you want to unmute?
Yeah. So, if I'm seeing if I'm following what's being done here correctly, it looks like we created night orders request. We put the driver information in. He gets added to the night order list for the port. But let's say I'm coming in with a steerable trailer, and I need not just the driver to be able to get into the port, but I also need the fellow that's steering the 19 axle. I need him to be able to get in, and I maybe need an additional spotter because of our size. My support personnel that are coming along with.
Okay.
Right now, I make a phone call and I say I have 3 people I need to add to the night orders list. I give the driver information and the names for each of the escorts, so that when they get there to the gate, they open the gate, and Port Police checks ID, TWIC cards, and so forth for everybody and makes sure everybody's on the night order list. But what I'm seeing here, it looks like we only have a place to put the driver information in.
Okay. Is there
Can you,
comments?
I was going to say, sorry, Tina.
No, go
Kendall,
ahead.
can you add it in the comments so that when Robin sees that, so you'll put your driver information, and then in the comments, I would put the other people that are going with you in there. And then hopefully Robin will see that and add them all to it. But by this all being new, I would still just call the port once you do this night orders list and make sure them other drivers are on there. Because we had a meeting yesterday, but we didn't discuss any of that. And I forgot all about that with adding the extra people that go in when we have the real big ones that come out.
Yeah, and so Jen, to his comment on here for future release, let's just note that we can add support personnel where we have driver. Well, we can make a drop down for support personnel, and then probably add I don't know how many, maybe up to 4. I think 4 or 5 is reasonable. In versus the driver, let's say 1 or 2 in front, 2 or something in the back. I don't know what the max is, but let's
Yeah,
add.
I think that 4 or 5 would be
Yeah,
enough.
let's add support personnel for drop downs, and they would have the same thing as the driver because they're still going to be required to have TWIC, and they still have the escorts, and they will be associated with this. So it would still be part of this record.
Mhm.
But we can talk about that for a future addition to this
So
functionality.
we only need to provide a way to enter the first name and last name only, or they also need accept emails for each driver.
No, it would be part of this record. So they're going in with him. So
Yeah.
it would be part of this record. So the approval process will be part of this because they're not going in separately, but they still need to be approved with this record. So they still have to have TWIC cards. So the approval with the TWIC and because they're going in, so it's part of this record. So it has to be the approval process. They're not going to be approved individually. So they're all going to be approved as part of this record. So it's not going to be individual records.
Correct. So the question is, what information do we need to collect on each of those drivers individually?
So the driver, first and last name, TWIC card.
So there's a middle, I mean, the bring in, take out is this for one vehicle, just one, right? That's enough. And then they all have their own model account number too, or the model account number is just one?
I'm not sure. I guess it would be separate
I think
because they all have
it's,
separate TWIC cards.
I think generally as long as they're in-house escorts, which 9 times out of 10, the steerman, the support personnel are going to be company escorts. They would all go under the same e-modal account number.
Okay.
But and maybe there's some other heavy haulers that would have more experience with bringing in third-party escorts on the night orders. I've probably done it already, but I don't do it often enough to remember exactly how we do it.
Yeah, just don't lock it down, Jen, because if you lock it down, then we won't be able to change it for the ones that don't. So I would default it to make it everything of what the other driver, I mean, for that company, and let them add to it, but but leave that field open in case they need to change it and add a record to it, but make it part of the parent record. This record,
Okay, we can talk about detail later,
Yeah.
but for now, they just use the comments.
Put it in comments, yeah.
Put in comments, put all the information, yeah, in the comments. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a feasible way to handle it for starters.
Yeah. Thank you, Kendall.
Sure.
There's another question from Donna at the Q&A section. Donna said, I will probably not be using the night orders or escort manager. Is it possible to get the instructions on the route authorization for blankets?
Yeah, they're gonna be, one of the people in my office are gonna be working on the manual to add this to our updated manual. They're working on updating the manual, and so this will be part of that. And if you ever need help, you can just call us and we can walk you through it, but it will be part of the updates in the manual. And did I hear blankets are going to 100,000 pounds on 6 axles? So we did put that in our new Comar. It still has to pass. So we did change it. So on the 5 axles will still be 90,000. But we did change we did request for the change to be, change it, the length to 85 feet long to match Baltimore City, and we did put in for 100,000 pounds on 6 axles, yes. But it still has to be passed. It'll go out for public comment, and as long as it passes, then it will be. I can't answer that. I have to defer to the bridge engineers. So I'm sure it depends on axle spacings and compact axle space, it'll go through all that, but as long as it's 6 axles. Tina says yes, but I'm not a bridge engineer, so. Go ahead, Jen.
Actually, that's all I have to show.
Okay. But this one went quick.
Yeah.
Any other question? If anybody comes up with questions after the fact, I still got questions to answer from yesterday. Don't think I forgot about you. Just haven't got to it. It was like 6 meetings yesterday. It was a busy day. So I'm still going to get to them. But if you have any questions, feel free to call or email.
I don't know whether there are any perm service organizations here or not. I guess yesterday, right? That question about how to, if the perm service create application for the haulers and how this notification going to work and who's going to come in to complete the escort manager and net orders, all that. Have we decided what to do with that? Or
I'm sorry, say it again.
if the perm service create application for the haulers and then the perm service will get an email about the complete the escort request and net orders, and so the perm service will come in to complete those for the haulers, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds like the process.
And also, if the hauler want to get an account access to Maryland One, and they can do by themselves too, because we those permits, even though you get them through the perm service, it's going to show up there, and they can do by themselves. They just need to get a Maryland One account.
Yeah, so they have to be registered. So they'll already have an account. They just won't have users because the permit services register them to to get an account. They just won't have user IDs to access the account.
Yep.
And usually if they go through a permit service, they don't want to be bothered. They just prefer the permit service to do everything for them anyway. So they get all kinds of, some permit services actually do like IRP and so many other things for them, routes, surveys, or they provide services through other companies, third parties and stuff. So they do a lot more than just get permits. So companies prefer, it's not just mom and pop companies, but some companies just are too busy doing other things. They just prefer other people just do it themselves. So depends.
Okay.
So does anybody have any other questions about anything else in the system? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Or we'll call you.
Yeah, I know. And we do have a lot of new updates coming up. Our route network is being updated to Google Maps. I think I mentioned to some people. You're gonna have the ramps are gonna be included, turn by turn directions. The bridge restrictions are gonna be in line with the restrictions. I mean, with the turns. So it'll be like I-695, 20 miles. So yeah, let's just say, for instance, I-695, 20 miles to I-97, Crawl Bridge number 123. There'll also be what we call a driver detail sheet. So you'll have the permit and the driver detail sheet will print out afterwards. So the text will be larger and it'll only have the information that the driver cares about. Because apparently the driver doesn't care about how nice and pretty our permit is. They only care about, their driving details, the permit number, validation, the valid dates of the permit, things like that. Go ahead, Kendall, you have a question? You can
I think
unmute.
I think you covered this, but I think I was distracted. So for the for scheduling the state police escorts and then the city police escorts, did you say we do still have to call MSP Barracks
Yes,
to schedule these, and we still have to call Kim to schedule the Baltimore part of it?
yes.
Okay, so is that just for interim, or this is just this whole thing of scheduling the escort in the permit system? First of all, it's just a way to update and communicate information in addition to the phone calls that we always do.
For now, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Baby steps.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Well, it's
Kendall,
probably good because I was thinking if we're doing it all on this, it's going to be a mess for the first couple of weeks. But if we're still doing it by phone, I feel better about it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, training, getting
Yeah.
everybody, pulling everybody, teaching people new tricks, and you know, people get complacent. It's like that's the way we've done it for 100 years. That's the way we want to continue to do it. We don't care if it makes my life easier or anything. It's just that's the way they wanted to do it. So
You've been
you got to
around
put.
heavy haulers long enough, apparently.
I know,
It sounds
right?
like it anyhow.
Yeah, it's like people used to say, we got people in our office, and I won't mention any names, but they were like, "Oh, I don't want to get my email on my phone. I only want to use my phone for phone calls." It's like that's not what phones are for. I don't play games on my phone. I don't do this or that, and I don't want to get my email on my phone. I'm like, dude, you don't even know what you're missing. Trust me, you will want your email on your phone. You don't want to be tied to that big old computer. And now they cannot live without it. They're like, oh.
Yep.
So it's just you don't know what you don't know, or you don't just trying to streamline things. It's like welcome to automation. Just like trying to tell some other states, and I won't mention them either, but about letting carriers automate revisions and extensions. It's not rocket science, people. It's just like you want them sitting on the side of the road? There's no truck parking. Just trying to make it easier. Why do you want them calling you and bugging you when you can only change the make, state, and plate? It's just
Mhm.
like, just let them do it. It's only 3 fields, the make, state, or plate. Why are they gonna call you and bug you to change 3 little things when they're gonna move and change anyway? It's
Yep.
it's just trying to get through to people about it.
That's why you're
Yep.
always in trouble, Tina.
No, it's the mouth. That's why I need Josette Brown to keep me politically correct and Kim. Oh no, Kim's just as bad. She's worse. Sorry, Kim.
so
All
Kendall,
right. Hey,
just
thanks. Go ahead.
Kendall, just to
Yeah.
give you an update, you will have to go to Baltimore City. Once you get your permit back for Baltimore City, you're not going to be calling me. You're going to be picking on the escort manager
Oh,
for the
okay.
city part. So once your permit gets issued, you are going to get an email
Mhm.
And then it's going to tell you to go to the escort manager, right, Jen? Can you just explain that one more time, Jen?
Correct, yes. Once the permit get issued, you will receive a permit, and then you also receive another email if that permit require escorts and net orders, and to tell you, hey, you need to go to here, here, here to complete your escort request and net order request.
So then once you go there, Kendall, for the Baltimore City part, it's going to have drop down boxes. So if you pick tonight and you technically want to go 7 o'clock, but I already have a 7 and an 8, that 7 and an 8 is going to be gone. It'll show you my next available. Then
Okay.
you'll
Yeah.
pick your next available one. Once you do that, I look at it, I approve it. Then it goes back. We get an email, right, Jen?
Yes.
Okay, so we get an email stating that you have to go to now the night orders list, and that's where you will fill out all your information for your company, driver, everything normally you would give to Robin at the port
Mhm.
for the same day, same time. So if I
Mhm.
gave you 10 p.m. for tonight, you're going to put in there 6:27, 10 p.m., fill out all your information, send it to MPA, which is, is the port. They'll look at it, and then she'll approve it once all your information is correct in there. So then you won't have to worry about calling me, emailing me, or calling Robin at the port. Everything will be online.
Okay, so you're going to be using this functionality 100% out the gate, if you will, but it's a state police, it's a MSP that isn't necessarily going to be utilizing this for all the scheduling immediately. That we have to still call them.
Correct. Right, Jen? Because once we go live, that's how they're going to schedule with me, because I can't put all their information in there, right?
Correct. Yes. So they can, they can also put escort information in there too, just complete their part. And then whether the state enforcement going to use that to approve the escorts, that's we're still discussing. But you definitely going to use, you and MPA operation, you guys definitely going to use this net order to approve the net orders. And then the user will get an email once the net order has been approved.
Oh, I
And,
misunderstood. I thought there was going to be a transition for the city.
Yeah.
and then this is not being used at all for scheduling bridge monitors. Is that correct? Like the MPA bridge monitors or the SHA bridge monitors for the state and for the and for I-95. Those still get scheduled outside of this system. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right, Tina? I know, MDTA, there will be a number on your permit that they put on there for you to schedule escorts for MDTA. So Tina, I guess you can answer for the state
Correct.
part.
Correct. For now, correct. Gotta slowly herd them in.
Okay, that covers all my questions. Thank you.
All right, Gladys.
Okay, so is the permit still going to show all the fees for the state police on it?
Yes.
Okay.
There's plenty of those. There's enough of those to go around. Why do you want more?
No, I just want to make sure those fees are covered if we do book that night travel.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
We can add more fees. Somebody else wants their hands in your pockets.
So if we hadn't done those in the past, I mean, really set up the police escorts for the driver, when they get this permit and it shows 250 for a police escort, whether they make the trip or not, they still pay that, right?
if they didn't cancel it, or if they didn't do it within a certain time frame, is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So how does that money get back to them if it's on the permit already, the issued permit?
How does the money get back to who?
The carrier or whoever. So the permit comes in already with the police escort fees and your traffic escort fees, whatever. So that goes out of the original permit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the trip gets canceled. They just lose that $250. Is that what they do today?
So if they depending on when they cancel it, or sometimes things happen, or they have to reschedule, or they have to get another permit. If they call, depending on if they talk to Kim, or if they talk to our office, if there's circumstances that we will
Okay.
cancel it, that
Gotcha.
then everything gets canceled. Or
Okay.
sometimes they'll just cancel certain things. It's like, suppose there's an issue with the route, or now they can't move it, or something gets canceled. I mean, things happen, but
Sure.
you can't call an hour before you're leaving, or 2 hours before that they're leaving, and say, oh snap, we're not gonna be able to make this move, because the officer's already scheduled. He could have took other overtime and didn't, and or sometimes he's already on his way out up to the move, because sometimes they have to drive a couple hours to get to where they're going.
Yeah,
And
how can
then
I
people,
serve-
Yep. But with the
Yeah.
new process, so they order their oversized permit, right?
Mhm.
Then they have to go do the night move today. And so it already shows those fees on the permit that we receive. So nothing changes on that, right? I mean,
Mhm.
the
Nope.
permit's not going to change because they hadn't even set up their police escort yet at this point. They just got a permit.
Yeah.
The fee will just still show up on the permit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
Right,
you
so
do today.
in that case, you would either, if the permit got issued today, and the company can either call the city or the state and say, hey, look, this load just got canceled. We're not going to be doing it at all. Then we ask them to send us an email. As long as the permit hasn't started, then, on my end, I'll return the fees. That's just for the city. I can't speak for the state. But if you order this permit and you're supposed to go out tonight and everything got canceled, then most likely the permit, you'll just get the police fees back, not the permit of the fee of the permit.
Okay.
Because the permit is already started today, right?
Right.
So as long as you cancel your state police 4 hours prior, and we see that. But if the permit started today, you're not going to get the permit fees back.
Gotcha. So you're going to change number 3 on your restrictions after it goes live, I guess, on how to do it.
No.
Right? You're not going to say call Kim anymore, right?
Oh yeah, we have to. Well, I mean, I'll still leave it. I'll still leave my number and all that on there.
She means where it says call to make arrangements. So we'll just for a police escort. So we'll just modify the message.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, we'll modify the message. I'll still have my number on the permit in case there's any issues.
Okay.
Did you find black bags?
All right. Any other questions? Not you. All right. I think we're good. And everybody else, everybody have a good evening or good after rest of their afternoon. And if you have any questions, just email us. Thank you.